Hey everybody, good evening, good evening. Bonsoir, it's Ryan. I just wanted to give a quick update because I didn't really say or get to address the shootings that we just had. So we had 7 people shot, I believe, on Saturday, and then one person was shot and killed. 2 people, I believe, were dead in the Saturday evening shooting, and I think it was one dead in the Sunday morning shooting. It's very concerning because all this has happened and we have a mayor who is missing in action. I haven't seen him publicly. He hasn't said anything. They finally 2 days later had a press conference, but only some people from the police department were there. So I don't know what's going on, but he makes 6 figures, and I mean he can't even be bothered to give condolences or to encourage the residents that this was an isolated incident or to be on the scene. I mean, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So hey Amir, what's up? So I don't want to be long because it's been a really long day. Hey Javar, and I haven't eaten my dinner yet. But let me just start really quickly with I want to share some of the press conference that was done earlier. Now, like I said, remember it's been 2 days. The city of Harvey, other than some very very limited information released via the press, they never. That's what he wanted, corruption. Yeah, right. Hey Ari, um, the city of Harvey. This is the first after 2 days. 2 days after this mass shooting is the first that we've really heard from the city directly. So let's take a listen.
Today to provide information, reassurance, and reaffirm our commitment to keeping the city of Harvey safe. On Saturday evening at approximately 8:03 p.m., officers responded to a mass shooting in the 14400 block of Des Street, where a house party was taking place. 7 people were shot, one of them a 4-year-old boy. Thankfully, all of those injured, including the child, are all in stable condition. 2 offenders opened fire on the party. One of them was shot and killed, and the other remains in custody, and one is in stable condition. This early that same morning, around 4:50 a.m., our officers responded to the 200 block of Calumet Boulevard, where a man was found deceased in a minivan, who was the apparent victim of a targeted shooting where over 30 rounds were fired. We believe that this was a retaliatory act that was related to the earlier incident. There was another occupant in the vehicle who was not injured. Let me speak directly to the concern many of you have asked about over the last few days. We now know who the bad actors are. These are not random acts of violence or anonymous individuals. This violence stems from an ongoing conflict between individuals with a long and disruptive history within our city. We are very familiar with them. And
Hey Berna, thank you for your courage today. Oh yes, we had a successful hearing. Uh, I would say earlier today, although there were a lot of gaffes at the courthouse. But yes, thank you so much. And Wyoming says 2 days for an official statement to the residents isn't acceptable. Exactly, Wyoming. Right. It's just, it's crazy, especially when, I know Harvey has a bad reputation, but I do believe from other sources that I've read as well that this is an isolated incident. You know, we don't, things like this don't happen maybe as much as people think, but when you don't really say anything about it for 2 days, I mean, that doesn't reassure people, right? So I remember I had like another neighbor who was, wanted to host a get together and was reconsidering it because of this, and other people were giving reassurances and saying, no, this is not, typical thing. This is an isolated incident. But, it's pretty bad when we're paying them all this money for their salaries and such, and they can't even be bothered to say anything for 2 days.
frankly, they have caused harm within our community for far too long. These people have been the source of multiple disturbances, including previous acts of violence and intimidation. Our department has intervened in the past, and we are now actively engaged in efforts to stop this cycle before it continues to escalate. We are not just investigating, but we are also looking to mediate the situation. We are exploring every legal and community-based tool that are available to us, and we will be reaching out to credible messengers, neighborhood leaders, and mediation partners to de-escalate this feud. Let me be clear. We will not allow a senseless rivalry to hold this city hostage. We are pursuing charges where applicable, held accountable. These incidents are serious, but they are also isolated. There's an ongoing threat. There is no ongoing threat to the general public. Still, we understand that fear and frustration this has caused to our community. We hear you. We've currently increased patrols in that targeted area, and our detectives are working around the clock to ensure that justice is served.
Yeah, I find it interesting. Was that a Freudian slip when he said, what at least the chief say? This is our chief of police, by the way, getting biddings, but did he say this is, and then corrected himself and said this isn't an isolated incident? No, but no, I do from what I've seen from a few sources, I do believe it's isolated. It seems like it was a dispute between rappers, or something like that. Um, But oh, what did he just say? Sorry, he just said something that I wanted to. Oh, 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 oh. He just said that their patrol. Excuse me. I was just running some errands and stuff, and I drove through there. I mean, the streets cleaned up and everything. There aren't too many cars on it, but I didn't see police anywhere in that area. So I don't know if I really believe that they've really stepped up patrols.
For the justice is served. We are also speaking with the public, and we want to let anyone who has information know that they can come to the Harvey Police Department anonymously and speak with our investigators to make sure that we bring closure to the families that have dealt with this incident. To the people of Harvey, this is our city. We will not be defined by violence, and will not be defined by anyone that are engaging in acts of violence within our city. Together, we will reclaim our peace in the city of Harvey. Now I'm going to allow Detective Mackay to come up. He's going to speak to some of the case.
Before Detective Pagaya comes up, I'd just like to say a few words. My name is Deputy Chief Charles, Charles.
Some of you may recognize this gentleman. He was the one that was extremely rough and inappropriately rough with me when I was illegally arrested last year for standing up for my alderwoman Colby Chapman and just filming, in a meeting. So I mean, we're going to keep complaining to the authorities, and we want to expose this. But this gentleman's name is Derek Charles. I looked into it after he was so rough and inappropriate with me during my false arrest last year, and it turns out he was fired from the Country Club Hills Police Department because he did not respond to his radio at one point when they called him to respond to a situation. And the other major issue was that he lied under oath, which is huge if you are a police officer. So at least that's what I and others were able to find online. Feel free to Google that. It should all be public information. But anybody in their right mind would at least have this guy on desk duty or something. No, they let him after how horrible he treated me. Like the way he grabbed me, it's like, Jesus, he could have broken my neck. It was horrible. He's at the city council meetings regularly, and he's still deputy chief. So, that's why I went to try to get some video the other night of the scene, because I'm sorry, but I don't trust Harvey police to do anything to address this issue or any other crime.
I'd like to speak directly to what we know about these incidents and the individuals so far. This was not random, as the chief stated. These were not acts of senseless or spontaneous violence. And what we're seeing is a part of a long running conflict between two groups of individuals who have been at the center of multiple shootings over the years. We've investigated these individuals before. We've responded to their disputes. We've talked with the family members, witnesses, and neighbors, and we've documented a pattern of violence that has now escalated again with devastating consequences. Here's what the pattern looks like. On August 14th, 2018, this all began with when individuals connected with one of the offenders were injured in a weekend shooting that the individual was killed on 14620 South Houston. On July 28, 2019, the same individual injured in that weekend shooting was previously shot at 15646 South Myrtle. On September 28, 2020, that same individual was targeted again, shot at, though not hit, near 14519 Kentucky. On October 1st, 2023, that person's cousin was shot and killed. Then on November 8th, 2024, three gunmen followed this individual and his girlfriend. They fired at him but struck and killed the woman instead. These aren't just isolated incidents, as the chief stated. These are a part of ongoing personal disputes between two groups of individuals. And this weekend's shootings are the latest consequences of that feud. This is a contained conflict between known individuals. This is not a widespread community issue. This is not a random threat to the public. We are confident in our understanding of who is involved and what's behind it. That said, innocent people have been hurt, including a young child, and we're not going to allow this violence to continue. We'll now bring up Detective Magana if you have any questions specifically.
And this is the guy that should have been fired after he manhandled me last year. I mean, so it may. I'm not saying that there aren't some officers that aren't trying to help, and trying to help people out in the Harvey Police Department. But when you have your top brass as people that brazenly violate people's civil rights, I mean, what kind of message does that send?
About this weekend's incident.
How you guys doing? Any questions about the shooting?
How you guys doing? You have any questions? So if you don't recognize this gentleman, this is Detective Magana, Javier Magana. He's always at the city council meetings. He was the one that was that put his hands on Alderwoman Colby Chapman, totally inappropriately and unnecessarily. And again, instead of disciplining these people, he's here giving a press conference. Like, what? How is this supposed to make me or any Harvey resident more confident in our city's elected officials that they're actually gonna do what they need to do to prevent violent crime and actually solve these crimes? Like, these people that are speaking, they violate. We have it on video, whether it's with me or Colby and with others, but we have them on video violating other people's rights. So if they're basically acting like criminals, are they trustworthy to actually help us solve crimes? I mean, this this is not good. This is not good.
I do ask if anybody has any information about the shooting, any suspects information or any video in the area, please contact us, and we'll keep you guys anonymous. Thank you.
I also wanted to comment. Isn't it interesting how they said nobody had any questions? No one answered. Like, no one had any questions, but who did they? Or whom did they notify about this press conference? I didn't hear anything about it, and I love to cover all things local in Harvey. I think there were maybe 2 stations there. I don't know how many exactly, but I mean, that's crazy. If like no one had a question. So anyway, this is not good governance, people. This is why we keep asking time and time again and demanding that the Illinois State Police and the Cook County Sheriff come in and fully investigate this police department, because if you have criminals leading the department, people that on video you've seen them violating my rights, Colby's rights, other people's rights, how are we supposed to trust them to solve crimes?
So if there are no further questions, or there are no questions, then guess we'll go ahead and conclude at this time. Are there any questions? All right, thank you.
How could Okay, wait. Has anybody seen, maybe I'm off here, correct me if I'm wrong. Hey Crook. Okay, good. I didn't know if you were still up and about, but has anyone else watched a press conference that, first of all, is so poorly attended, and they didn't, like, I didn't know about it. It doesn't seem like it was well announced, or well advertised. So there's not many people there to even cover this after a mass shooting. And then when they ask for questions, no one has any questions. Something's not right. I mean, it's crazy. Crazy, you guys.
Work today is broken. We're all working in too many
So, looks like the mayor's out on vacation. Exactly. Yep. I wish I could, I was going to say, I guess I could just write in an app. Oh, maybe I could open a Canva window, although Canva kind of takes up a lot of space. I just wanted to have something like where I could visually put some words on a screen. What do you think, Crook? Or I guess I could do a Microsoft Word document. Let me think about that. What could I use, you guys? It certainly does feel like Mayor Clark's out on vacation, though. I mean, it is not okay. It's not okay. What could I do? But except it looks kind of plain. Like, there's got to be, maybe Word will do for now. Let me see. Open a Word doc. This comes in. It's so helpful to be able to organize your thoughts, and organize what you're saying. But that's okay. I'm going to type some things out. So, I have some questions after this mass shooting, okay? Let's do a more interesting font. Let's see, what else could I do here? Wait, before I do that, actually see it. Okay, there we go. That's not too bad, right? You guys can kind of see it. I'll just make it bigger. But I wanted to have something, because I have some questions, but I don't know about you guys. It helps me to be able to see things, instead of just hearing them. So I guess my first question is, and actually this relates to my Facebook post, which I just made, but so where are Mayor Clark and Alderman Tyrone Rogers? Okay. Where are they? I haven't seen them publicly. When I went to cover that, I didn't see them there. I haven't seen them post any videos or anything. They couldn't even be bothered. This is Tyrone Rogers' ward, by the way. But they couldn't even be bothered to be at the press conference today after a mass shooting. I don't know. Like, what's your excuse? Let alone the fact that we're paying you, all this money. Clark is making six figures, and Tyrone's making at least what 40 some thousand a year plus the $25,000 per year expense reimbursements that they get. That's good money, right? Like, if you can't come out to show yourself immediately for a mass shooting, either in the city or in Alderman Rogers' case, your ward, like, he's the one that's always in these meetings telling us how his ward looks so beautiful and everything's so great. Well, that's not so beautiful and it's not so great. So where are you, Tyrone? So that's just, that's my first question, that I really, really have a problem with that. Sorry, let me find my post here. Okay. The other thing. So if you guys remember, so that's my first question, okay? Oh, expenditures? Yeah, what about them, Crook? That's my first question, though. Second question, number 2, is, oh, now it's going to look, hey, stop doing that to my chair. Stop. Thank you. Good boy. Dog is like, how they love to rub their faces and everything. I'm like, stop getting my chair dirty. My second question, though, is, why is our police cam sitting spying on Hassan instead of at 145th and Des Plaines? Now, we already know in that general area, we know that there have been complaints of shootings and everything, right? So again, why is the camera sitting there? So if you guys remember, I don't know if you remember, you may not, but so when Jed was going to harass Hassan, oh, you're helping me out. Okay, thank you, Chris. When Jed went to tear that fence down and to try to create all that distraction and everything, and really just because Mayor Clark sent him there as a distraction and to harass Hassan, who is a credible foe, right? Like someone who has created jobs in Harvey, and he's fought corruption of a few mayors in Harvey. He has a good business in town and everything. So they put the police camera that we do have, with the flashing lights that observes, they put it there to spy on apartments. And like literally the camera looks into like almost directly into some people's apartments, which is again super creepy and inappropriate and violating human rights. But then also spies on like all of Hassan's like the factory area and like, but mostly the apartments where people live near his factory. So it's really, really, again, what is your priority, Harvey Police and Mayor Clark? Like, this is not acceptable. Like, put it where the crime's actually happening. And then another question in general is just why are these are the questions that need answers, by the way. Why are Harvey Police harassing Clark's opponents and guarding his two homes? Why aren't they out there? Why aren't they out there actually, you know, doing policing the appropriate way to, not like, you know, harassing people punitively, right? But, you know, getting to walk the beats, bike the beats, get to know people, build trust in the community. You're not just there to harass people, ticket them, you know, arrest them, you know, racial or otherwise profile them. You know, that's good policing, right? Be proactive, build relationships in the community, try to prevent the violence, and then also, you know, be there to address violence when it occurs. But no, instead, our police are being used to harass anyone that Clark doesn't like, and they're guarding his two homes, which multiple sources tell us time and again, Mayor Clark doesn't actually stay there. He doesn't actually stay in Harvey, but there's always like these 3 police cars out in front of the two homes at 157th and Page. My final major question here is number 4. Why won't Illinois State Police, and Cook County Sheriff, did I spell sheriff right? I always forget. Wait, 1 R, 2 Fs? Yeah. Investigate Harvey PD. So why won't the Illinois State Police and Cook County Sheriff, why won't they investigate Harvey PD? I've asked many times. I've gone to the county board meeting several times, and I've asked them. I've called. You guys heard me on the live when Jed was harassing Hassan and trespassing at his private property. Harvey Police came, didn't remove Jed. They were just kind of shooting the shit with him, hanging out. So they were not actually doing their job. And then we called on the live and put on speakerphone the sheriff, and the sheriff was argumentative, and you know, one of the people from the sheriff's office, and saying, you know, no, we're not going to help you. You just said Harvey Police is there. You'll have to complain to them. And then I had said, well, we've complained for years. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't do it. Like, are you going to actually come and investigate? The problem is, what do you do when your police are the criminals? The police are the ones that are not dependable to do the right thing, because you see them, you know, violating people's rights and harassing mayor's critics, protecting people like Jedediah, who also go and harass and terrorize people even more. Like we saw the illegal evictions that Jedediah did on July 14th with the protection and oversight of Harvey Police. I mean, this is not acceptable. So I'm once again calling on all the authorities. Please share the message. Please feel free to share the video. But we need Illinois State Police and the Cook County Sheriff to come in, not to assist, to say, Like when I spoke with them one time on the phone, they said, "Oh yeah, we pull people over sometimes, and catch illegal weapons and everything." Okay, I mean that's great. I'm grateful for that. I'm not saying that I'm not, but no, we need you to seriously take over and immediately investigate the Harvey Police Department, because it is not. They do not use proper police practices. That police department is basically the enforcer for, like, a mafia enforcer for Mayor Clark and the four alder yes men: Tyrone Rogers, Shirley Drowinski, Delaney Smith, and Dominique Randall Out. So whoever they label as people that are asking questions or speaking up, or uh, really just anything that's seen as remotely critical of what they're doing, they are sending the police after us. So, you've seen Colby arrested 4 times, you've seen me arrested, you've seen Jedediah come after me and others with the protection of Harvey police. There's so many other examples, but I mean, this is not acceptable. So again, please forward this message and tell, everyone that we need the Illinois State Police and the sheriff to do their jobs. And when the police of your community are the criminals, to whom do we go? Right? Now we saw, earlier in this video, it was, and then the other, the first comment that I had, like, where are Mayor Clark and Alderman Tyrone Rogers? After this mass shooting, they're MIA. They're nowhere to be found. They're happy to take the salary that we give them, but they're not actually doing anything to earn it. So, I mean, we know we can't count on elected officials. Now, thank goodness, Colby, who is my alderwoman, she's spoken up. Tracy Key has spoken up. But for the most part, Harvey's just being run. It's like a mafia little fiefdom. And I will say it again. I told the judge today in the hearing regarding the horrible harassment at the hands of Jedediah and his followers, that I said, Your Honor, I've complained to, and I've asked the Harvey police, the Cook County Sheriff, even the state police, to get involved and enforce the fact that, like, I have the reports saying that Jed violated his order of protection. And I said, but no one wants to actually take any action. Isn't he supposed to be arrested or something? Not only that, but he continually has the protection of the Harvey police via Mayor Clark to come around and threaten and then say all these things online and tell people, that I'm a child molester. And remember, a lot of these people, they just believe what Jedediah says, okay? So if he's telling them these horrible things, I mean, that's just like open season on my life, and people are saying, oh yeah, he really did it. All these comments. Yeah, he's really a predator. Da, 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 da. I mean, what's to say that someone's not going to try to come by tonight or tomorrow and shoot me? One time it was a paintball attack, but the next time it could be bullets, right? So it's just, when we have a mayor and police that are protecting, they're bullying and they protect other bullies. I mean, does anybody really expect true justice to come out of this press conference and then this so-called investigation of this mass shooting? You heard Derek Charles himself tell us that they knew that this was a pattern for years. Well, I did they ever tell the community? They never tell us about any crimes, big or small. The only reason I think that they had this press conference today is because the major news channels picked it up, so they knew they couldn't ignore it. But the mayor couldn't be bothered, and the alderman for the ward couldn't be bothered to say anything. No condolences, no updates, no reassuring the people and saying, "Hey guys, this is an isolated incident." So yeah, an overall F for the city leadership, and that's all I want to say tonight. Any other comments or questions before I head out? I am going to go eat finally after all day. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Someone else asked a good question. Sorry, hold on one second. Why did they move the police camera from the corner of 157th and Paulina to the corners of 157th and Page, watching Clark's house? Right. You know, I have to go by there. Has anybody seen, is there still a police camera there? I thought we only have one camera. And so then after Clark had Jed tear down the fencing around Hassan's business on 154th, I know that there's still that camera there. But like I said, I thought we only had the one camera. Is there still a camera by the two homes that the mayor owns? But that is a very valid question, because I saw a video online where someone was profiling and trying to tell some of the background of the arguments, you know, between these different rappers and these groups that have been feuding. And that's a good point, that 157th and Paulina, that would be another great spot to have a camera like this, right? It sounded like that could be a hot spot. So that's what these cameras, you know, are if you have them, that's what they're supposed to be used on. You know, I'm sorry, but the mayor's two homes that he doesn't even use, that's not a hot spot. Like, no one wants to break into your houses, Mayor Clark. I'm sorry. So yeah. So anyway, is that it, Crook? Do you see any other questions or any other issues? Feel free, you guys, if you want, you know, if you have any leads or if you have any questions, you know, if you want, feel free to send them my way. Because as I had commented, you know, I went to cover this the other night, and it wasn't really so much, I wasn't really there as much to cover the people who were on the scene. I'm more there I'm actually most concerned about covering Harvey police, because like I said, they've proven themselves to be untrustworthy time and time again, and that they violate people's rights all the time. So you know, that's another reason why it's so important that we have your support and that we have people covering things. And also just to say, you know, I'm a resident of Harvey, and I know many others have reached out, and we send our condolences to all the victims, and we just want our fellow residents and other people outside of Harvey to know that this is not a normal, mass shootings are not normal occurrences in Harvey. And that's not what we stand for. Most of my neighbors are like pretty decent people who basically just mind their own business. You know, I mean, they're not necessarily going to, you know, not everyone's necessarily going to, you know, be best friends, but you know, it's a shame that we should have to do that. You would hope that our politicians would. I think Colby did come out with a statement, and I've been in court and busy all day. I haven't even gotten to look, but I was told, you know, that the mayor and his cronies did not. I'm sorry. I'm going to take you guys with me because the dog is pressing his button. He needs to go potty. Do you want to say hi, puppies? Here. Can you see the puppies? There he is, kind of. Yeah, he wants to go outside and not let him potty. All right. Crook says, we covered everything. Will you be able to address what happened in the courtroom today, if I understand? Yeah, I don't want to say too much, but, you know, just know that regarding the stuff today, yeah, we you know, we were able to have the hearing and with the judge and everything, and Amir came to be a witness and also you know, just show his support. So I know Amir has a hearing tomorrow morning, so I will do my best to attend that as well. And we're just going to keep, you know, standing up for ourselves, and, you know, whether it is, you know, Mr. so-called advocate or Mayor Clark or whoever, the theme is, I don't like bullies. We're going to keep fighting these bullies. Thank you, everybody, for your support. And yeah, I think that's it. So we'll talk to you guys very soon. Thanks for joining, and bonne nuit. Oh, the hearing tomorrow on Zoom. I believe you should be able to. It's at Markham Courthouse, but you should be able to watch it on Zoom tomorrow. Yeah. I do believe so. Amir would have more information, but yeah, it's 9 a.m. So that's like, you know, 7 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Central. Good questions, Wyoming. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thanks, Crook. Thanks everybody who came in, and keep us in your hearts and minds, and we appreciate your advocacy and trying to help us get some justice here in the Southland and in Harvey. Bienvenue. Oh yeah, and then Amir. I would say probably maybe go to his page, and then also he may share it on my page with the Historical Society page. So good night.